Hello everyone, welcome to our wonderful wordplay session of Bedtime Stories here at Lowestoft Library. My name is Rebecca and today's story is The Ugly Duckling. So I hope everyone's nice and comfortable. You've got your Jimmy Jams on, you've got a nice snuggly warm blanket, and you've got your extra special cuddly friends. And I know that they like to listen in on the stories too. So get everything together, and if we're ready, shall we get started? Once upon a time there lived a mummy duck, and she had a very big nest, and inside her nest she had 5 eggs. And Mummy Duck was very excited because she knew in a few days she would soon have some baby ducks to take care of. She sat on her nest every day, keeping her eggs lovely and warm. One day she felt something move underneath her, and when she climbed out of her nest, she saw that her eggs were hatching, and she was so excited because she could see her beautiful ducklings. And one by one they hatched out of the eggs and they started to play together. And she looked at her new family and she saw just how beautiful they were. They were small and had fluffy feathers that were yellow and white. She counted the ducks while they were playing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now Mummy Duck got a bit confused because she knew that she had 5 eggs in her nest, but only 4 ducklings were playing together. She looked back inside her nest and she saw that there was still 1 egg in there. Now this one hadn't hatched yet, so she knew it just needed a little bit more time. So she sat back on her egg and she waited, and a few days passed. And then she felt something move underneath her. And when she climbed out of her nest, she saw that her 5th egg was hatching. So soon she would have her 5 ducklings. Now when this egg hatched, the duckling that came out didn't look like the first 4. It was slightly bigger and not as fluffy, and the feathers were greyish and brown. But Mummy Duck didn't care. She loved all of her children. Now one day, Mummy Duck said they were all going for a swim along the river to go to the farm. So as they were all getting into the water, the 4 fluffy yellow ducklings turned to the greyish-brown duckling and said, "You're ugly. You're an ugly duckling and we don't like you and we don't want you to come and we don't want to play with you and we want you to go away." Now the ugly duckling was very sad, because this was her family. She didn't know anybody else. So while Mummy Duck swam off with the 4 fluffy ducklings following, the ugly duckling tried her hardest and paddled behind them. And when they got to the farm, Mummy Duck was so excited to show everybody her new family. They went to see the pigs, and the pigs thought that the 4 fluffy ducklings were beautiful. But when they saw the grey duckling, they said, "Oh, you're ugly. You're an ugly duckling. We don't want you here." Mummy Duck was very angry and told the pigs not to be so mean. Then they went to see the cows, and the cows thought the 4 yellow fluffy ducklings were beautiful. But when they saw the grey duckling, they said, "You're ugly. You're an ugly duckling. We don't want you here." And Mummy Duck was very angry and told them off. Then they went to see the sheep, and the sheep did the same thing. And then the goats, and all of the animals in the farm were so mean to the grey ugly duckling. Now she was so sad. She loved Mummy Duck very much, but everybody was so mean to her. So one day, when she felt strong, she flapped her wings as hard as she could and she flew away from the farm. And she flew until she couldn't fly anymore. And when she landed, she saw that there was a little house in the distance. And she hoped so much that there would be someone in the house that would want to play with her, that would want to be her friend. And when she got up to the door, there was an old lady there with a cat and a hen. And she said, "Oh, what do we have here? Is this a duck? I would love to have a duck come and live with me and my cat and my hen. I would love for a duck to lay me eggs, as well as my hen who lays me eggs. So she let the ugly duckling stay. But the cat and the hen didn't want the ugly duckling there. They said, "You're ugly. We don't like you. We don't want you here. You're an ugly duckling. Why don't you just go away?" And the ugly duckling was so sad. She didn't understand why people were being so mean to her. So one day when she felt strong, she flapped her wings as hard as she could, and she flew as far away as she could. And she flew until her wings got tired. And when she landed by a lake. And all around the lake were strange birds that she'd never seen before. They were white and they had very long necks. And she looked at them and she thought they were the most beautiful things she had ever seen in her life. She thought she'd be brave and go up to these birds and ask if she could be their friend. So when she came out from behind the bushes, she said, "Hello, can I come and be your friend and stay with you, please?" And one of the birds said, "Of course you can. You're beautiful." And she said, "I'm not beautiful. I'm an ugly duckling. I'm weird and strange and I don't look like everybody else. My feathers are grey and I'm not fluffy." And her new friend took her to the water's edge and said, "Look in the water and what do you see?" And the ugly duckling looked into the water, and the reflection that was looking back at her was a beautiful white bird with a long neck. And she said, "I look just like you." And her new friend said, "Yes, you're a swan. We're all swans here. And yes, you can be our friend. And yes, you can stay with us." And the ugly duckling realised that she was an ugly duckling no more. She was a beautiful swan, and she had beautiful friends and a new family, and she lived happily ever after. So I hope you enjoyed that story and you're all ready for bed now. So good night, and we will see you soon.